doses. According to Health Minister Khairi Jamaluddin, priority will be given to those with appointments based on the order of age. Frontliners, individuals with comorbidities, pregnant women and those needing a booster dose to go overseas are in the priority group. The appointment dates for the booster dose for eligible recipients will be given through the My Sejahtera app. Individuals can also register to be waitlisted to get an appointment at selected public and private health facilities. All Menteri Besar and Chief Ministers have agreed to amend their state constitutions to allow individuals to stand in elections on reaching 18 years old.
This will include the general election, state election and by-election. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said the matter was decided at the 137th Menteri Besar and Chief Ministers meeting on Tuesday. The meeting also agreed that there should be more engagement sessions between the federal and state governments, especially on development projects in all states.
Malaysia and Singapore are set to launch the Land Vaccinated Travel Lane VTL next Monday, the same day the Air VTL is scheduled to start. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said this is as 95% of the adult population in both countries are fully vaccinated, making it possible to reopen the land border in a gradual, safe and systematic manner.
As a start, the VTL Land initiative will be limited to bus transportation as a control mechanism. The boarding and disembarkation point for Singapore-bound designated bus services will be Larkin Central Bus Terminal, while in Singapore, it will use the Queen Street Terminal. Other modes of transportation will be included in stages. Only fully vaccinated travellers are allowed to take part in the VTL Land initiative. It is open to Malaysia and Singapore citizens and permanent residents, as well as long-term pass holders. Both countries have agreed on 1,500 travellers as daily quota in the initial stage, with weekly increments. Unvaccinated children below the age of 12 must be accompanied by vaccinated parents or guardians. More details on the requirements can be found on miti.gov.my.
The Election Commission has set December 18 as polling day for the upcoming 12 Sarawak state election. EC Chairman Dato' Abdul Ghani Saleh said nomination day will be on December 6, while early polling on December 14th.
Over 1.25 million Sarawakians are eligible to vote, with the EC targeting a 70% turnout for the polls. Abdul Ghani said 82 seats are up for grabs, with the campaign period set for only 12 days from after the nomination day. He added that the COVID-19 prevention guidelines for the election are currently being updated and will be announced once they are finalised. The Sarawak Legislative Assembly was dissolved on November 3rd, following the Yang di-Pertuan Agong's consent to lift the statewide emergency, paving the way for the state election to be held within 60 days.
Are Sarawakians ready to face the long-awaited state elections? We speak to Senior Fellow of National Professors Council, Dr. Janiri Amir, to discuss sentiments on the ground and more.
All parties, all political parties has prepared because they were well aware of the fact that election was supposed to be held earlier on. And no reason for any parties not to be prepared because I believe they're looking forward for this election. And based on the sentiment on the ground, I've been going around in Sarawak for quite some time, especially for the last 2 or 3 weeks. It seems that people want to decide as soon as possible, and the EC has decided that the election is going to be held on the 18th of December.
Dr. Janeri said holding the Sarawak election during the pandemic is manageable.
COVID-19 cases in Sarawak has plummeted for the last few days, and yet it's less than 150 cases. So in actual fact, dining in coffee shop is actually more risky as compared to going to the poll. Big challenge, the main challenge for political parties and grassroots machinery is to how to convince the people, and for new faces in particular is how to introduce themselves if the SOP is very stringent.
Amid fear of the pandemic and political fatigue, how will Sarawakians vote on December 18th?
What matters, the bottom line for Sarawak voters, I think they want to ensure that they vote for the right candidate, for the right party, to ensure political stability and continuity. What matters to them is the development in the areas, particularly in rural areas. And in this respect, the state government under the leadership of the Right Honourable Chief Minister, Datuk Tinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari, has actually focused very much on the rural areas, whereby the 2/3 out of the 82 seats is in rural areas.
With COVID-19 SOPs for Sarawak polls to be announced later, we ask analyst Professor Dr. Umu Atia on how campaigning should be carried out. She said the campaigning SOPs must be able to cater to the state's geographical size and infrastructure.
My concern is how the political party can introduce, their candidates to the voters, because the voters need to see the candidates, needs to know the candidates. Maybe it cannot be blanket, to Sarawak. But I agree to the SOP where during the election period, the nomination period, the SOP are great. We should maintain that. But I'm talking about the campaign SOPs. Maybe in Sarawak context, the Health Ministry as well as the Election Commission can come together and introduce specially designed to Sarawak, considering the size of Sarawak, the infrastructure that Sarawak has as compared to Melaka. For instance, maybe I think when we look at Melaka as a case, right? It is a small state, right? I mean, people can reach the voters much more easier as compared to Sarawak. So I think we can negotiate. I mean, we can accept that particular SOPs. But in Sarawak, I think the EC as well as the ministry should allow maybe ceramah or rallies in Sarawak. But we limit to numbers, certain numbers. For one party, we can allow for 3 to 4 rallies, with a very strict SOPs.
The long-anticipated Sarawak elections have finally been set for December 18. Who's happy and who's not? Tonight on Consider This, we ask our guests what to expect in the lead-up to the polls. We'll go for a quick break. Stay with us.
When the world was changing for photographic film, we helped change the world as a pioneer of the digital age. In healthcare, we're expanding what's possible with advanced technology. But why stop there? When we can focus our AI and IoT expertise on business innovation, helping tackle some of the toughest challenges in the workplace. When it comes to innovating for a healthier world and a more sustainable society, we'll never stop. Fujifilm, value from innovation.
To run a growing business is to be on a journey. And along the ride, you'll have many questions, challenges, and a few surprises. Wherever you are on your journey, your Dell Technologies advisor is here for you with the right tech solutions, so you can stop at nothing for your customers.
Apa rahsia sebalik kopi kami? Rasa ringan, sederhana atau penuh. Lebih aroma, lebih rasa. Panggangkan biji kopi. Masa dan suhu dari hijau, kuning ke perang keemasan. Indah. Lagi. Berhenti. Terbaik. Direka penuh berseni agar enak dinikmati. Dibuat oleh 5 pakar kami. Old Town White Coffee 3 dalam 1. Seni kopi kini diperhalus.
Aku bayar bil Indah Water semalam. Jalan sesak, letak kereta susah, beratur lagi.
Entah mana anak letak bil. Kena bayar ke?
Indah Water kerja semalam untuk jaga alam sekitar dan senangkan hidup kita. Tu pun tak nak bayar ke?
Nak senang dan cepat, daftar e-bil sekarang. Jimat penggunaan kertas, kan bagus? Nak lagi mudah, muat turun aplikasi Indah Water sekarang juga.
Indah Water Consortium, era baharu air.
Welcome back. The World Health Organization warned that 700,000 more could die from COVID-19 in Europe by March next year. This figure includes 53 countries in Europe, including EU member states, the UK, Kazakhstan, and Russia, among others. The WHO warned of high or extreme stress in intensive care units in 49 of the nations by March 2022. Europe is facing a surge in cases, prompting Austria to return to lockdown, and others are considering fresh measures. France, Germany, and Greece could soon make booster jobs mandatory for citizens to be considered fully vaccinated. Several countries have seen fierce protests against new COVID measures. The Netherlands saw several nights of rioting over a partial lockdown. Based on current trends, the WHO projected the cumulative deaths in the region to breach 2.2 million by spring next year. New Zealand will keep its borders closed to most international travelers for another 5 months to curb the spread of COVID-19. Fully vaccinated international travelers will only be allowed to enter the country from April 30th, while New Zealanders will enjoy eased border restrictions beginning January.
We do know that the international restrictions we have had around our border have been tough for many people. That's why we're making this announcement today, to give families, businesses, visitors, airlines, airports and others the time to prepare.
While fully vaccinated travellers will no longer be required to stay at state quarantine facilities, other measures will be put in place, including self-isolation, a negative pre-departure test, proof of being fully vaccinated, and a COVID-19 test on arrival. Foreign travellers will still have to self-isolate for 7 days on arrival. Sweden's parliament elected the country's first female prime minister today. Social Democratic Party leader and current finance minister Magdalena Andersson clinched a last-minute deal, securing key support. She will succeed outgoing Prime Minister Stefan Löfven. The 54-year-old secured 117 votes among members of parliament. Under Sweden's system, a PM candidate does not need the support of majority in parliament. They just need to not have a majority or 175 votes against them. Just yesterday, Andersson reached a deal with the Left Party to raise pensions in exchange for its backing. Germany's Olaf Scholz is on course to succeed Angela Merkel as Chancellor after clinching a deal to form a three-party coalition. The Social Democrats, Greens and Liberals have reached a deal on forming a new government following 2 months of intense negotiations. Scholz's Social Democrat Party narrowly won Germany's national elections on September 26. The three-party coalition will be the first such alliance on a national level in Germany's history and is expected to put fighting climate change at the top of its agenda. The deal seals the end of Merkel's 16-year tenure. During her 4 terms as Chancellor, she became one of the most respected leaders in Europe. NASA launched a spacecraft on a mission to smash into an asteroid. This was to test the possibility to knock a speeding space rock off course if one were to ever threaten Earth. The DART spacecraft, or Double Asteroid Redirection Test, lifted off from Vandenberg Space Force Base on a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket. If all goes well, in September 2022, it will slam head-on into Dimorphos, an asteroid 525 feet across at 15,000 miles per hour. Scientists say this would not destroy the asteroid, instead give it a small nudge.
The DART technique could prove useful for altering the course of an asteroid years or decades before it bears down on Earth, with the potential for catastrophe. Scientists constantly search for asteroids and plot their courses to determine whether they could hit the planet.
That is all we have for you on AWANI tonight. Get the latest news updates on COVID-19 and COVID-19 vaccines from astroawani.com and Astro AWANI app. I'm Saraya Mia. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon.